My name is Jordan, and 8 months ago I thought I had everything figured out. I was 28, had a decent job in graphic design, a girlfriend I'd been with for 2 years, and a life that looked perfect on the surface. But underneath I was suffocating. Sarah and I met at a friend's party. She was beautiful, confident, outgoing, everything I wanted. For the first year things were great. But slowly I started noticing patterns. Comments about how I wasn't assertive enough, or how I was too emotional for a guy. She'd make jokes about me being the woman in the relationship because I liked cooking and actually talked about my feelings. First I laughed it off. Then I started changing myself. I stopped sharing my emotions. I forced myself to act more masculine, whatever that meant. I buried parts of myself so deep I almost forgot they existed. But there was one part one could never quite bury: my fascination with crossdressing. Since I was a teenager, I'd been curious about wearing women's clothes. It wasn't sexual. It was something deeper, something that felt like coming home to myself. But I was terrified of judgment, so I kept it locked away in the darkest corner of my mind. Until one day Sarah found the photos on my laptop. I'd been experimenting in private, taking photos to see how I looked, trying to understand this part of myself. I wasn't ready to share it with anyone, especially not her. But she was using my computer, clicked the wrong folder, and there they were. The look on her face when she confronted me was pure disgust. Not confusion, not curiosity, disgust. What the hell is this, Jordan? Are you gay? Trans? What are you? I tried to explain, stumbling over words, tears streaming down my face. I don't know exactly what it means. I just know it's part of who I am. I'm exploring. This is sick, she cut me off. This is not what I signed up for. I'm dating a man, not whatever this is. She left that night. Broke up with me over text 2 days later. I need someone who knows who they are. You're confused and I can't deal with that. I deserve better. Those words haunted me for weeks. I deserve better. As if I was somehow less than, broken, unworthy of love because I didn't fit into her narrow definition of masculinity. The breakup devastated me, but it also did something unexpected. It set me free. For 2 years I'd been performing a role, trying to be someone I wasn't to make Sarah happy. Now, with no one to perform for, I could finally explore who I actually was. I started therapy. My therapist, Dr. Martinez, was incredible. She helped me understand that gender expression exists on a spectrum, that exploring femininity didn't make me less valid, that I didn't owe anyone a neat, easy-to-understand label. Who do you want to be, Jordan? She asked during one session. I want to be myself, I answered. All of myself. Not just the parts that are acceptable to other people. So I started experimenting. Bought my first dress from a thrift store. Watched makeup tutorials for hours. Practiced walking in heels in my apartment, falling on my ass more times than I can count. Joined online communities of crossdressers and gender nonconforming folks who understood what I was going through. I gave my feminine self a name, Jade. Jordan when I presented masculine, Jade when I presented feminine. Not because I was two different people, but because I was one complete person with different ways of expressing myself. 3 months after the breakup, I went out as Jade for the first time. I was terrified. I'd spent hours on my makeup, chosen a simple black dress that made me feel elegant, worn a wig until I could grow my own hair out. I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself, not because I looked strange but because I looked right. I went to Sapphire, an LGBTQ-friendly club downtown. The moment I walked in, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Freedom. No one judged me. No one stared. Well, some people stared, but in a good way. I danced, I laughed, I felt alive. Over the next few months, I became a regular at Sapphire. I made friends. Other crossdressers, drag queens, trans folks, queer people of all kinds who created a community where I could just be. I grew more confident as Jade. Started going out during the day, not just at night. Got better at makeup. Developed my own style. I wasn't hiding anymore. I was living. 6 months after the breakup, I was at Sapphire on a Saturday night, wearing an emerald green dress that hugged my curves. Yes, I'd developed curves. Thank you, hip pads and the right undergarments. My makeup flawless, my confidence at an all-time high. I was dancing with my friends when I felt eyes on me. You know that feeling when someone's watching you? I turned and locked eyes with a woman across the bar. It took me exactly 3 seconds to recognize her. She was staring at me with an expression I'd never seen on her face when we were together. Genuine attraction. She didn't recognize me. She had no idea that the woman she was checking out was her ex-boyfriend. My friend Marcus noticed. Girl, who is that? She's been eye-fucking you for the past 5 minutes. That's my ex-girlfriend, I said, my voice shaky. Marcus's eyes went wide. What? Does she know? Clearly not. We watched as Sarah said something to her friends, then started walking toward me. My heart was pounding. Part of me wanted to run, but another part, the stronger part, wanted to see how this played out. She walked right up to me, a confident smile on her face. Hi, I'm Sarah. I haven't seen you here before. I disguised my voice slightly, made it more feminine. I'm Jade. I've been coming here for a few months. You're stunning, she said, and she meant it. Can I buy you a drink? This was surreal. Sarah, who had called my crossdressing sick, was hitting on me while I was crossdressed. Sarah, who said I wasn't man enough, was treating me with more respect and attraction as Jade than she ever had as Jordan. Sure, I said. I'd love that. We sat at the bar and Sarah was different. She was charming, attentive, asked questions about my life. She told me she'd recently gotten out of a relationship. He wasn't really confident in who he was, she said, and I had to bite my tongue. She said she was exploring, figuring out her sexuality, realizing she might be bisexual. I've always been attracted to confidence, she said. And you have it in spades. There's something about you that's captivating. The irony was suffocating. When I was Jordan, trying desperately to be confident in the way she wanted, she tore me down. Now as Jade, expressing the parts of myself she'd called disgusting, she was drawn to me. We talked for over an hour. She was funny, interesting, all the things I'd loved about her. But I also saw clearly now what I'd missed before. She was shallow. She cared more about image and appearance than substance. She wanted people to fit into her boxes. Can I get your number? She asked. I'd really like to see you again. I should have said no. I should have walked away. But I needed to know something. What if I told you I was trans? I asked. Or gender nonconforming? Would that change how you feel? He didn't hesitate. No, not at all. I think people should be whoever they want to be. I'm very open-minded. The hypocrisy was stunning. That's good to know, I said. I gave her my number. A new number I'd gotten recently, one Jordan's contacts didn't have. Over the next 2 weeks, Sarah texted Jade constantly. Flirty messages asking when we could meet up, telling me how she couldn't stop thinking about me. We went on a date, dinner at an Italian restaurant. She was a perfect gentlewoman, pulled out my chair, complimented me, made me laugh. It was everything I'd wanted from her when we were together, and she was giving it to me now, not knowing I was the same person she'd rejected. But then on a random Tuesday at 2:47 a.m., I got a text on my old number. From Sarah. To Jordan. I made a mistake. I want you back. Can we talk? I stared at both phones. One with messages to Jade, one with a message to Jordan. She was pursuing both of us simultaneously, not knowing we were the same person. The next message came through. I've been doing a lot of thinking. I was too harsh on you. Everyone's figuring themselves out, right? Maybe we can work through your stuff. I miss you. My stuff. Even in her apology, she was reducing my identity to a problem to be solved. I made a decision. It was time for Sarah to learn the truth. I texted her back from Jordan's number. Let's meet. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., Cafe Meridian. She responded immediately. Really? Thank you. I'll be there. I've really missed you. Then I texted her from Jade's number. Hey, would you want to meet for coffee tomorrow? Say 7 p.m.? I know a cute place, Cafe Meridian. Her response came a minute later. Perfect. Can't wait to see you. She just agreed to meet both of us at the same place at the same time. The next day I prepared carefully. I did my makeup as Jade, full glam, perfect contour, bold lip. I wore the emerald dress she loved. But I also brought a bag with Jordan's clothes. Jeans, a t-shirt, sneakers. I arrived at the cafe at 6:45 p.m. and got a table in the back corner. At exactly 7 p.m. Sarah walked in. She looked around, confused. She was clearly expecting to see either Jordan or Jade, but she was looking for them separately. Her eyes passed over me once, twice, then recognition flickered. Jade, she said, walking over. What are you doing here? Waiting for you, I said. Have a seat, Sarah. We need to talk. He sat looking nervous. I don't understand. I'm actually supposed to meet someone else here too. My ex-boyfriend. This is weird timing. Not really, I said. Jordan's not coming. Because Jordan's already here. She blinked. What? I let the silence hang for a moment, then spoke in my natural voice, Jordan's voice. Hi, Sarah. Surprise. The color drained from her face. Jordan. But you're Jade. You're the same person, I finished. I'm Jordan. I'm also Jade. I'm both. I'm neither. I'm just me, finally living authentically instead of pretending to be someone I'm not. Sarah looked like she was going to be sick. This is insane. You catfished me. You've been lying to me. Have I? I asked calmly. I never lied about who Jade was. You just never asked the right questions. And let's talk about lying, Sarah. You texted Jordan saying you wanted to work through his stuff, while simultaneously pursuing Jade. Were you planning to mention that you were dating someone else when you got back together with Jordan? She opened and closed her mouth, speechless. Here's what I want you to understand, I continued. When I was Jordan trying to be the man you wanted me to be, you constantly criticized me. You said I wasn't confident, wasn't masculine enough, wasn't what you deserved. But as Jade, expressing the exact parts of myself you called sick, you couldn't get enough of me. Do you see the problem here? I didn't know, she started. That's exactly my point. You didn't know. You were attracted to confidence, to authenticity, to someone who was comfortable in their own skin. But you only wanted those things if they came in a package you approved of. The moment I tried to show you my authentic self, you ran. Tears were forming in her eyes. I was scared. I didn't understand. Being scared is valid, I said. Not understanding is fine. But responding with disgust? Calling my identity sick? Making me feel like I was broken and unworthy of love? That's not okay. And then texting me 6 months later saying maybe you can work through my stuff? That's not acceptance, Sarah. That's tolerance at best. You want me to go back to hiding so you can feel comfortable. That's not fair, she said, her voice breaking. People change. I've been learning. I've realized I might be bi, and I've been thinking about gender and sexuality more. I'm growing. I'm glad you're growing, I said genuinely. That's important. But I'm not a learning experience. I'm not a project for you to work on. I'm a person who deserves to be loved completely, not conditionally. Sarah was crying now, mascara running down her face. So what does this mean? Is there any chance for us? I took a deep breath. 6 months ago, receiving a text from her would have sent me spiraling. I would have considered taking her back, would have convinced myself that maybe I could make it work, that maybe I could be enough for her. But I wasn't that person anymore. No, I said firmly but not unkindly. There's no chance for us. Because the person you want, whether you call that person Jordan or Jade, doesn't exist. I'm not just Jordan. I'm not just Jade. I'm a complete human being with a complex relationship to gender and expression. Some days I present masculine. Some days I present feminine. Some days I'm somewhere in between. And I need someone who loves all of that, not someone who tolerates it or wants to fix it. I could learn too, she started. Maybe you could, I interrupted. But I don't want to be with someone who has to learn to accept me. I want to be with someone who sees me and thinks, yes, all of that exactly as you are. I deserve that. And honestly, so do you. You deserve to be with someone who fits easily into your worldview, and I deserve to be with someone whose worldview has space for me. She wiped her eyes. I really did care about you. Both of you. All of you. I believe you did in your own way. But caring isn't enough. I need love that's brave enough to embrace uncertainty and complexity. And I need to love myself enough not to settle for anything less. I stood up, gathered my bag and prepared to leave. Sarah looked up at me and for a moment, I saw genuine sadness in her eyes. For what it's worth, she said quietly, you really are stunning. As Jade, as Jordan, as whoever you are. I'm sorry I couldn't see that before. Thank you, I said. I hope you find what you're looking for, Sarah. I really do. Just make sure you're looking for the right things. I walked out of that cafe with my head held high, my emerald dress catching the streetlights, my heels clicking confidently on the pavement. I didn't look back. As I drove home, I thought about how far I'd come. 6 months ago, I was broken, hiding, convinced that parts of me were shameful and wrong. Sarah's rejection had almost destroyed me. but instead it had freed me. It had forced me to confront the truth about who I was and decide whether I was going to keep hiding or start living. I'd chosen to live. That was 3 months ago. I haven't heard from Sarah since that night, and I'm okay with that. I hope she's doing her own work, figuring out who she is and what she really wants. As for me, I'm thriving. I'm out at work now as gender fluid. I go to the office some days as Jordan in slacks and button-ups, other days as Jade in dresses and heels. My colleagues have been incredibly supportive. My boss even updated the dress code to be explicitly gender neutral. I'm dating again. His name is Chris and he's pansexual. When we matched on a dating app, I was upfront about my gender fluidity from the start. His response: "That's awesome. I'd love to get to know all versions of you. We've been together for 2 months and it's the healthiest relationship I've ever had." He loves Jordan's quiet, artistic side. He loves Jade's bold, confident energy. He loves everything in between. He doesn't try to categorize me or put me in a box. He just loves me. Last week we were getting ready to go to Sapphire together. It's become our spot. I was doing my makeup and he was watching me from the doorway with this soft smile. "What?" I asked. "I'm just thinking about how lucky I am," he said. "You're so brave. And so beautiful. All of you." I teared up, almost ruined my eyeliner. "I'm the lucky one." "Nah," he said, walking over and kissing my forehead. "We both are." Looking back on everything, the painful breakup, the journey of self-discovery, the surreal experience of my ex wanting me back without knowing who I really was, I've learned some crucial truths. The people who reject you for being authentic are doing you a favor. They're clearing the path for people who will love you properly. You can't grow into yourself while shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. The only way to become who you're meant to be is to take up space, to be bold, to refuse to hide. The right person won't make you choose between different parts of yourself. They'll make space for all of you. Sometimes the universe has a dark sense of humor. Your ex might literally hit on you while you're expressing the exact part of yourself they rejected. When that happens, you get to decide whether to educate them, get revenge, or just walk away. I chose honesty and closure, and I don't regret it. You're not too much. You are not too complicated. You are not sick or confused for exploring different aspects of your identity. You are human, and humans are beautifully complex creatures who don't owe anyone simplicity. So yes, my ex-girlfriend wanted me back. She wanted Jordan back, thinking she could work through his issues. She wanted Jade too, drawn to the confidence she'd tried to destroy. But she couldn't have either because they're not separate people. They're both me, and I'm no longer available to people who want to love me in pieces. I'm only available to people brave enough to love me whole. And honestly, that's the best decision I ever made.